Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to Angels Camp today. Look at that. Look at that line. That's a very sharp line. There's one light above where I park. Yeah, so me and another attorney are going to go down to Angels Camp today to defend a Skelly hearing, and that should be very, very stupid and a waste of time. Skelly hearings are generally a waste of time in my experience. You're entitled to an evidentiary hearing afterwards, and that's where the sausage is made. If a government agency is going to fire you, they're going to fire you. I mean, the Skelly hearing, great, but it doesn't actually change anything, at least not in my experience. It's the evidentiary hearing that you're entitled to afterwards where you actually get a chance to change the outcome, as it were. Anyway, I saw several questions yesterday in live chats and in my Discord about the situation going on with the California lawsuit. It's not a federal lawsuit that Chille filed against Kate Peter and Michael Berrettini, Blue Bacon. So Kate Peter and Blue Bacon and a few other people. But I think, to the best of my knowledge, people aren't keeping me updated on it. They're not actually posting the documents in Discord. So, I mean, you get what you get. If you don't feed me the information, you're not going to get good information back. But to the best of my knowledge, only Blue Bacon is defending. And that's probably because Blue Bacon is probably the only defendant who has anything to defend. I think he owns property. Anyway, so, I mean, if you own property, you're not judgment proof. So there was a tentative ruling, and I've never done any work in Los Angeles County Superior Court. So, take this with a grain of salt, but every other district court or superior court that I have done any work in that has a tentative ruling system, the point of the tentative ruling system is to eliminate the hearing. So the judge will basically make a decision on the moving papers, on the motion, the opposition, and the reply, and will post that tentative ruling so that the parties can see it. And then the only way you get a hearing is if one side or the other notifies the court and notifies opposing party that they intend to challenge the tentative ruling. Usually that has to be done the day before by like 2:00 or something like that. There's normally a local rule or a judge's order that explains when and how you can challenge a tentative ruling. So what makes sense to me is that there is that system in place because there is a tentative ruling system in Los Angeles, at least as far as that one judge is concerned. I don't know if all judges do it down in Los Angeles, but that judge does tentative rulings. And so the point of that tentative ruling isn't just so the judge can do extra homework and write up stuff that doesn't matter. It's to eliminate a hearing because there's a lot more people that want to be heard than judges and court spaces to hear it. So Chille didn't show up, the plaintiff, Chille, and the attorney for the defendant, Michael Berrettini, the attorney didn't show up, and only Blue Bacon showed up. And what that tells me is that there's some poor attorney-client communication between the attorney and Blue Bacon, but that's it. That I don't believe the attorney's in any trouble at all. I would seriously doubt that because both Chille and the attorney didn't show up, which means that nobody called the other side to notify them that they intended to challenge the tentative. Blue Bacon didn't apparently challenge the tentative in, with his attorney not being present. He didn't say, hey, I want to challenge it. Or if he did, he was completely ineffective. Nine times out of 10, the court's going to adopt the tentative ruling. I can't tell you how many times attorneys have notified me that they're going to challenge the tentative. And you show up and they basically argue the same thing that they argued in their moving papers that didn't convince the judge. And you're like, why are we here? Why did you waste 2 hours of my client's money? 2 hours of my time is 2 hours of money that I bill my client for. Why did you waste that, like, just for some performance theater? Like, it's pointless. The purpose of oral argument is if the judge made his ruling and you're like, hold on a second, and you can try to say this case that you used actually doesn't apply because this factor and this factor come into play, and this case says that your case, so based on that, you actually should rule in my favor and not against me. That's what it's for. That's what oral argument's for. It's basically to let the judge know, like, the law he's relying on it doesn't apply. And attorneys never do that, or at least they never do it effectively, in my experience. Very rarely. Like 1 time in 10. So I seriously doubt the attorney is in danger of being sanctioned by the court. The court isn't going to remember that attorney. I mean, courts are super busy, and they're not going to remember it. Even if the court was mad, which it wouldn't be because there's a tentative ruling system in place. Now, if the court is actually like, oh, you should have shown up, you irritated the court, what the court would do in California is the court would issue an order to show cause. The court would issue an order to show cause. It'd be served by the clerk on the parties, and it would say, attorney so-and-so, you need to show up on this date, this time, this department, and explain to the court why you failed to appear at this hearing. I have seen those before. Those are not necessarily uncommon. Normally you see those in things like where there's a mandatory settlement conference, but the attorneys already, the parties have already stipulated to a settlement, and the paperwork's been filed. It just hasn't gotten to the court yet. So the court is like, oh, mandatory settlement conference, you're not here. Order show cause. And then the court gets from the clerk, the court gets the settlement in order, signs off on it, and then vacates the order to show cause. I mean, it's not uncommon to see those. I have seen them before. I've never gotten one, but I wouldn't lose my cool if I did get one, especially if it was a situation like this where I'm like, there's a tentative ruling system in place. I didn't challenge a tentative ruling. Let's go. I'm not going to cover the substance of the order. My analysis, go back and watch my analysis. I think I covered pretty much why the court would rule the way it did. You could go back and find it. I covered it, and the court ruled the way I thought it would rule. So it's almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost. Not bad for a first-year family law attorney. I'm just really lucky. One other thing that is kind of off topic, defending your favorite content creator, to me, it just wastes your time. Just so you know, unclean hand saying he was mistaken. I in the video I laid out very specifically how it could not just be that he was mistaken. He was actively lying. You telling me that he was mistaken doesn't change anything. I get it. I get it. You really like that content creator. But it just makes you look bad. It just makes you look terrible. You look terrible. Like, you're holding up a banana, telling me it's an apple, and I'm just like, apparently you're a fucking idiot too. Apparently you're a liar. Apparently you're untrustworthy. I can check the box that I no longer care about your opinion. If I actually cared about it in the first place, which I probably didn't, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you ruin your own credibility. You ruin your own reputation by white knighting for your favorite creator. It's stupid. And people are still like, I still get comments like, John, Irish Demon, he admitted he was mistaken. Like, I fucking know. I know he admitted he was mistaken. That was one of the two. That was literally one of the two options that you could have voted for. And yet, about 60% of you still think that Irish Demon was just grifting, just using it to make money that he knew that it was a fake, either that he was complicit in it or he knew it was a fake. He saw that the extra D, and he still continued to go forward with it. And that is a perfectly valid opinion to have because of his past behavior, his past grifts. So, him coming out and saying, like, I get it. You really like these creators and you want to believe them. And so you're going to believe whatever shit they put on your plate. And that's great. You can do that. But it's like, just to make a point, Fraudulent Wrangler admits he made a mistake. So we need to just forgive him. We need just, okay, well, I need to apologize to Fraudulent Wrangler because Fraudulent Wrangler admits he made a mistake. Is that the way it works? Is that really the way that we want this to work? No. The way it works for a lie is they need to apologize. They need to say, I lied, and then apologize for it. And I won't admit that I made a mistake because they lied. And them saying that they made a mistake, well, I already know they're a liar. And them saying I made a mistake, that's just another lie. It's not helping them with me. I'm not going to change my opinion based on what they say because they are a liar. Don't you understand this? Oh, holy Jesus. And if you want to believe them, great, you believe them. But just remember, all the charity that you give them, you're not giving to the other side. You're not. You are looking at your side and giving your side complete unaccountability while you are overly holding the other side accountable. Every little thing the other side does, even if it is a genuine mistake, you will call them a liar. Like the accounting, like, oh, Chille's a bigger grifter because he takes money and he hasn't given it all to blah, blah, blah. And you won't take into account the amount of money that the various, like YouTube takes a percentage out. PayPal takes a percentage out. I mean, that's how these companies make money. They take percentages. So, if you give someone $100 on one of these things, they're not going to get $100. If you pay your attorney with a credit card $100, he's going to get $97. There's money lost. Now, I'm not saying that Chille's right to do it the way he's doing it, but you guys are not at all charitable. You're not holding him to the same level of accountability as you hold Irish Demon or Unclean Hands. You're not doing it. And so you look bad. And by not holding your side accountable to the same standards that you hold the other side, you are allowing your side to look like shit. You're allowing your side, by not holding them accountable, to ruin their own credibility. And you further that loss of credibility by arguing that, well, they said they were mistaken. They lied again, so now you should believe them. I mean, it's really self-defeating. If you're really on a side, you should hold your side as accountable, if not more so, than the other side. Because if you're trying to attract people to your side, if you're trying to persuade people that your side is the right side, but your side is full of losers and liars, what's attractive about that? Think about the Democrats and the Republicans. Each side points fingers to the other side. He's a liar. No, she's a liar. No, he's a liar. No, she's a liar. Both sides are full of liars. Both sides are full of con men. Both sides will take every penny that the U.S. taxpayer has and give the U.S. payer nothing in return. Both sides. The only purpose of the U.S. government is to screw you. And the Democrats will say it's the Republicans' fault, and the Republicans will say it's the Democrats' fault, but neither side will actually do a damn thing to fix it. And you got Republicans on one side saying, oh, those demon rats. And then you got the Democrats on the other side saying, oh, those Republitards. Each side thinks the other side's a problem. Each side will accuse the other side of every horrible thing under the sun and excuse their own side. Well, my particular senator, he's being investigated for corruption or whatever. Oh, well, that's just a political smear. But that other senator, he's a terrible person because he's got the wrong letter next to his name. It's an R when it should be a D, or a D when it should be an R. I mean, when you're in the system, when you've picked a team, you don't see how stupid it is. But when you're looking at it from outside the system, you're like, oh, these guys are fucking idiots. These guys are fucking idiots. You look like idiots to me when you come in and argue that your creator, who's blatantly lied, is now like, oh, he should be forgiven. John, you should apologize for pointing out the lie, because my creator said he was just mistaken. You know, my senator mistakenly had $100,000 in his freezer. It was just a mistake. That senator, he didn't pay his taxes. The other side was like, well, my senator mistakenly didn't pay his taxes, but your senator's hiding $100,000 in his freezer, and your senator didn't pay taxes on that $100,000. You know, it's stupid. Stupid. I'm on a rant now. I gotta go in. It's probably getting close to 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.